Hey, hey guys, welcome in to the Outspoken Network. Here, it's your hosts Brian and Craig. Craig, brother man, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. This is episode 131. We're going to talk about your wild card. We weren't able to get on talk about the wild card. We're going to talk about the wild card games. We're going to talk about the games that happened last night and yesterday, as we get into the divisional round of the playoffs as well. And then very special thing we're doing today for the Lions and Bucks game. We are going to live react. So turn it on. Tune in here. If you're not, we're going to live react to the game and have content during that game as well. So be prepared for that here about 2 o'clock when that game starts. All right, guys. Well, let's get into the wild card rounds, and we're a little late. I do apologize for that, but the first game was the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans, and we already got our first comment. Nice. Um, oh, Derpy Entertainment. Nobody. Jordan Love. Yeet. With the game on the line. Well, Derby, you're yes, yes, Derby. Unfortunately, but we will get into that in a little bit later here as we talk about that game. A little bit later. Very disappointing, but Browns and Texans, Craig. Who did you have winning this game?
I had the Browns winning just because of their defense, how well their defense played, and then Flacco just seemed to fall out of bed and get 300 yards every game, and um, he happens to go revert back to the reason he retired Joe Flacco, and the defense lets up. The defense, 14 of it was on defensive scores, but I mean, still, Houston just came out and outplayed them from the jump. I don't know if they really thought Houston wasn't what they were supposed to be or whatever. But yeah, Houston just outplays them from the jump and jumps on them early and doesn't ever let up.
Yeah, I picked Browns to win this game too. I thought Houston had a great season. Obviously, rookie coach, rookie quarterback. I like to watch CJ Stroud this season play. He seems to be their next coming there. And I just picked Cleveland. I thought Flacco with the veteran leadership from him, the defense has been playing well. I thought Texans might have been too big for Houston, but they absolutely annihilated them. Joe Flacco looked like Joe Flacco should, being as old as he is, and Houston gets the win. Thurpy said he had the Texans winning because CJ Stroud, and I support Cleveland baseball team, so I know they would pull Cleveland. Yeah, you can't argue with that. Um, you got we move on to the Chiefs and Dolphins. I have Miami winning this game. So I started off 0-2. Miami fell flat. They fell flat. And if you look at Miami this year, I think they kind of blinded us a little bit. They only have one win against a team with a winning record. So they played a lot of bad teams. They were hit or miss in some games. And the Chiefs get the job done at home, 26-7, another blowout football loss for the wild card round to close out that evening. Who'd you have winning that game?
Yeah, I had the Chiefs just because of the weather and the home field advantage. I didn't think Miami could go up into negative 20-degree weather and win. I thought the loss to Buffalo on the last game of the season changed their playoff fate dramatically, and
Yeah.
so rather than playing home twice where it's 80 degrees and in a controlled environment and everything like that, I thought going on the road to Kansas City was a bad draw for them, and that Kansas City would beat them.
Yeah, you made your playoff um playoffs a lot harder than they had to be. It
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
you
By
controlled your
one loss, you made it the path to the deal a whole lot harder than it needed to be, and so I thought by doing that it wasn't going to be the this year for Miami.
Derby says the real hero of the Miami and Kansas City game was the shirtless fan with negative degrees. That's dedication. Now, I don't know. I don't have the stones to go out there and do that, but they said a lot of people ended up going to the hospital with hypothermia
Yeah, I mean that's like
from
the
the game.
guy in Buffalo that was shoveling and went down the slide, and you know I don't know. Just that's a different animal.
Yeah, they're used to it here in Texas.
There will be somebody in the
We're
Buffalo
not.
Kansas City game tonight without a shirt on, and in the Bills Mafia. So,
Kat is back. Welcome in, Kat. We haven't seen you in a while. She says, how many people go to the hospital this game for hypothermia? There'll be some. There'll be a couple. The Chiefs game was what, -30?
negative 26 at kickoff. Yeah,
Insane.
yeah.
I don't. Did they have a full house? I doubt they did because of that weather.
Oh, I don't know. Kansas City seems to show out every time for that.
I mean, it was definitely definitely loud. There was a lot of people there, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they had a sellout crowd. Derp says he should probably bet on that, Cat. What are the over under of the amount of people that go to the hospital with hypothermia?
Yeah.
Then we move on to the best game of the playoffs so far: Packers Cowboys. Sorry, I'm sorry, Craig. All I could do is laugh. Look, I had the Cowboys winning this game. Better football team. They played better. The number 1 seed face or number 2 seed face the number 7 seed, and Packers show up and dominate. That's all you can say. Cowboys. This game is so weird, Craig. The Cowboys, first of all, CeeDee Lamb and didn't look like him and Dak had ever played a game together. The defense went away from their man coverage and played zone. There's so many question marks in this game. It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't. No. When you play one style of defense all year, and for whatever reason go to zone, and the first time that Green Bay broke it and had a huge play on it, then at that point in time you should go, all right, that zone's not working. We need to go back to what got us here and go back to man. And they never did. And they're throwing passes, and not that Love's not a good quarterback, but I mean, I could have hit these guys that were wide open. I mean, I have a 65-inch television in my living room, and there was nobody in the screen. These guys are catching the ball and wincing like they're going to get hit, and there's nobody around them, and they're like, oh god, there's nobody around me, and then running for another 40 and 50 yards. Like, I mean, that doesn't, like, not only did you play zone, but you forgot what zone you had, and you got no pass rush, and this team was basically what they said it was. If you don't get ahead, if the Cowboys don't get ahead and can't play from ahead and can't pin their ears back and rush the quarterback, then they're not very good. And if you look at the games that they lost, every game that they lost, they got behind early. They couldn't pin their ears back and rush the quarterback, and teams got out and ran away from them, and that's exactly what happened in this game. Green Bay come out and took the first kickoff, drove it down the field, stuck it in, and that was it. The Cowboys never could play from behind. So it doesn't look like they're going to make any changes in the coaching staff, other than if Quinn decides to go take a head coaching job in one of the couple that are left. But something's got to change, because they do this every year. They get in the playoffs and they change. They go away from what got them there. They go away. Last year, it was the play calling in Kellen Moore. He became very conservative. He didn't throw the ball down the field. They didn't put it up any points, and San Francisco beat them. This year, it was, we changed the defensive scheme to zone, and we went away from the offense, and we did this and we did that. They seem to get in the playoffs and outthink the room, outthink themselves, and outthink the deal. And then all of a sudden, by the time they realize, go back to what got them there, which is what they got in the second half. They went back to the offense, whatever offensive play calling. The offense was like night and day in the second half. It was much better. The chemistry between Lamb and Dak was back. They put up points. They moved the ball up and down the field, but the defense still never stopped anybody. And I just don't. I'll never get it.
It never made sense.
Seems to be the story of that team.
Well, we'll talk about, at the end of the season, we could talk about the coaching, the non-coaching change there in Dallas, and we can get into that. It's a whole different story. Dak's future for Dallas. What are we looking at in going from there.
There's no argument. The extension is imminent. The cap hit, you know, that they're going to take is deal.
Derp said, "I got the Packers. Took the Packers. Went 5-1 wild card games. His only loss was Rams and Lions. And the Rams and Lions were the best football game in the wild card round. It was a 1 point win for the Lions. They were able to handle their business. And look, Detroit fans, I thought it was really disrespectful for you to boo Matty Stafford. Matty Stafford runs out first time going back to Detroit, and you're booing him. Come on, this guy was your franchise for years, and I thought it was a little disrespectful. I picked the Rams to win this game. I was I was 0-4 to start it off. I just thought that Jared Goff would fold under pressure, but the Lions held their own, and they were able with a big first quarter to really kind of put this game away and hold on to it. And then that's exactly what they did there. And I really like Dan Campbell, man. I really like him as a head coach.
Yeah, I had the Lions too. And Campbell's been great for them, except for the it gets a little bit over his skis sometimes in the fake punts and the fake, going forward on fourth down all the time, and he's almost like he's coaching in a game of Madden over here that we're gonna go for it on every fourth down, and we're gonna never punt, we're gonna fake it, we're gonna do this, and I mean it's worked probably 80% of the time. I bet he's only missed, but the 2 or 3 that he's missed have been very critical. The Thanksgiving game against the Packers, they were coming back, and he goes and fake punts on his own 20 and gives Jordan Love a short field, and that ends up costing him that game. And then, there was another one across the season that he did, and it just cost him dearly. So you hope that here in the playoffs that he doesn't go to do something like that, and it ends up costing him a big game rather than relying on your defense to get you the ball back or whatever. You hope he's a little bit more conservative and a little bit more smart with the riverboat Ron type decisions that he was making up until this point.
Yeah, I like the aggressiveness. I don't know.
I know. I mean, in certain situations,
think,
absolutely, but on your own 20, that's not probably the time.
Well, against Green Bay, I was shaking my head on that one. He's gonna live or die by it, I guess.
100%.
And it's weird because like you got that mentality of I'm gonna do it every game. It doesn't matter if it's playoffs. And it's funny because going back to the Cowboys game, they talked about it's just we're gonna prepare for like it's a regular game, and then they come out and completely do everything different. So it's just weird. I'll never get over that. I'm not a Cowboy fan, obviously. I still can't get over how that.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
make sense.
And that's why a lot of people wanted the
McCarthy fired. He should be fired. I don't think bringing it back is the best decision.
Yeah. But, and that's why like I said that they wanted the change made because you went away from the game plan, and here's a team that you know so well. You coached them. This guy coached under you. There's no reason why they weren't prepared for it.
Cat brings a good point up. Hey, happy belated birthday, Craig.
Thank you.
Do we need to put on another hat and sing you a happy birthday
no,
song?
I'm good.
All right, we got Steelers and Bucks for Monday night, and we all knew, or not Steelers and Bucks, Steelers and Bills. My bad. The Bills won this game easily. Steelers, I don't know how they made the playoffs. Mike Tomlin continues to get this team to win every year, even though they've got quarterback questions and this or that. And happy birthday, you old fart, Derpy says.
Hmm.
So, not much to talk about this game. Bills dominated, and we move
Yeah, and
on.
we thought they were.
Yeah,
Especially with the weather again. There's 18 foot of snow on the ground, and Pittsburgh just not used to. They're used to playing in some kind of cold, but not like that, not all the time. And Mason Rudolph is not the answer. He was never going to be the answer. So, um, yeah, it's what it is.
they got to figure out if Kenny Pickett is the answer or not. But
That's the question.
Eagles fall apart faster than anybody else. I don't know how you go from Super Bowl to coach might be fired and fall off a cliff as fast as they did this season as the Bucks handle business.
I'll tell you
And
how they do it. They make Matt Patricia the defensive play caller, and that guy shouldn't have a job in the NFL ever again, because everything he touches falls apart. I mean, the Lions, anybody that's been under the Belichick tree of coaching has not had success when they left Belichick and went on their own. McDaniels, Patricia, Bill O'Brien. I mean, you can
yeah,
just continue the name. When they leave Belichick, it hasn't been successful. So I don't. The only place that might have a job would be if Belichick got another job. Then he could go back over there and follow him. But I just don't understand how a coach can. And I guess one of the defensive backs made a comment. They're like, when you go and change coaches, it's like, you married and get divorced from this person, and then you marry a person that does the same thing as the person you divorced. Like, uh maybe we shouldn't, it was the same system, and the same, like, nothing changed. It doesn't matter who you put as the play caller. Like, it was like the scheme was bad. I
yeah.
don't know.
Well, what's really crazy to me, and it's the same organization. They go to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. They win it. Next year, they're not very good. They get rid of everybody. They go to the Super Bowl again. They don't win it this time, and then the next year it seems like they're going to be cleaning house. I've never seen a team that just won the Super Bowl clean house so quickly. Things fall apart so fast, and it's happened twice to this team. After winning the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, and after losing the Super Bowl, I'm like, that's crazy to me. You won a Super Bowl, you think they'd want to keep their head coach. They get rid of him next season. They went to the Super Bowl last year. They looked dominant, and this year they had listen, they were 11-6. They had a good season. They could not as best as they could have had. They lose the first
Well, when you
round.
start
It,
10-1, though, that's it's not the 11-6. It's you started 10-1, and you were boat racing people, and then all of a sudden the 49ers just, like, broke the Eagles. Like, whatever happened in the Niners game, they just broke the team. Like, it just, they never played another game that was anywhere close to. You talk about the Cowboys going away from play schemes or whatever. It's like the Eagles just forgot how to play football the last month and a half of the season.
yeah, it was absolutely terrible. But just to have that happen, just to go to the Super Bowl and it change your whole coaching staff the next year or whatever, get rid of your head coach after that year, and then you go to the Super Bowl again, and then it's just I'm like, I've never seen it's just insane to me that this it's happened so fast and it fell off so quickly. Cry, Eagles cry, Derpy says.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what happened. So, um,
Oh,
it just
oh, yeah.
it's I don't know. It's one of the most epic collapses in the NFL. I mean, it just really is.
All right, we're moving on to the games that took place yesterday. Ravens and Texans. I I picked with this game in my heart. I wanted Houston to win. I should have picked Baltimore. Baltimore dominated them. Now
Yeah,
the first half, I
first
said,
half was a whole different ball game. I mean,
yeah, you're
Houston
tied
stuck
up.
with them.
Mhm.
They punt return for the touchdown to even things up, and we're driving down the field and trying to get some points there before half and miss a field goal, and then all of a sudden the second half it they didn't contain Lamar very well. He had some huge runs that really opened the drives up. He didn't play that well. I mean, he didn't even have 200 yards of passing. He had 100 yards rushing, and it was just like they didn't expect. They didn't expect what he was going to do. Um,
Well,
I just
the first half, we're watching this game. I'm going, Lamar struggles. He's
yeah,
struggling.
no, I
It's
agree.
10-10. Here we go.
And he there's no way if that same game plan goes into the AFC Championship, whoever they play will beat them. I mean, period.
Derp says he chose against the best running back with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I'm not a big Lamar fan, and
I
neither is
wasn't a Lamar
Craig.
fan, but I did pick the Ravens. So
This is this defense is smothering. They
yeah,
smothered the Houston Texans
the
left and
year that
right.
they won the Super Bowl is the same defense. You know, the Ray Lewis, you know, Tyler or Suggs, you know, and that defense, it was the same type defense. It was fly around, hit everybody. They didn't give very much up, and that's how they won football games. And so I don't know.
I was hoping Stroud could pull it off yesterday, but all right, let's get to the Packers 49ers game. This game, Craig, I don't know. I don't know how to feel because I told you earlier, we're not supposed to be here. We're not. This is a rebuild year. We weren't supposed to make the playoffs. We're not supposed to be good. But
Yeah, but it's hard when you do make it and then you
you
play a
do
pretty
make
good
it,
game.
and then you should win this game. And look, you can go look at the numbers all you want. Green Bay outplayed the 49ers at home. Brock Purdy was not good at all. He was missing
No.
throws left and right. We dropped two. We dropped a pick six. We dropped another interception. The biggest thing that hurt us was we settled for field goals instead of touchdowns in the first half. The referees don't know how to spot a football. Gave them the ball. That's how they go down and score their 7 points. We looked like we were going to win this game. It didn't happen. Obviously, the big missed field goal to make it a 7-point game there, and a very terrible throw from Jordan Love. Looked like Brett Favre on that pass, and we ended up losing 24-21. But I think obviously, what a great year we've had. We got a bright future for Green Bay. We found our quarterback. Jordan Love is him. And we'll see what next year holds. And hopefully over the offseason, we can get rid of Joe Barry, our defensive coordinator. The defense played well in the playoffs, but where has it been all year? And that's my biggest point. It's that been a no-show all season long. And we should have beat the Niners. We had this game, and just to think we could be going into play the Lions next week at home to go to the Super Bowl. I think that's a winnable,
you would
game.
not have been, you would not have been at home.
No, I said go into Detroit,
Oh.
and we beat them already this season, and we know them, so it would have been a very good game. But I digress because it's going to be the 49ers. Moving on. Derby says Jordan Love and Trubisky must have a bet who could lose a game and clutch better. Hey, well, Jordan Love's way better than Mitch Trubisky. Derby,
Yeah.
okay? Way better than Mitch Trubisky.
I mean, you talk about a tale of two teams. It was like the opposite of the Eagles. The first half of the season, the Packers were. I mean, you're talking about getting rid of Jordan Love and moving on and scrapping the whole team and blowing the whole thing up and getting rid of the head coach and all of a sudden, right there around Thanksgiving, it was like a switch went on. It was a whole nother football team, and they were the hottest team in football coming down the stretch. That's why I didn't want to play them when we were sitting there at Pluckers and it looked like we were going to play the Packers. I looked at you and I was like, no, I don't want none of that. I didn't want that to happen at all. And whatever controversial call in the Cowboys Lions game. I wish they'd have made it the other way, and then somebody else would have had to deal with them. I'd have much rather played, Tampa and Baker than I would have the hottest team in football right now. And so, but that team was hot, and they made some changes, and gives you something to look very forward to next year. I mean, you got so much productivity out of people that were drafted in nobody rounds, 4th and
Yeah,
5th
yeah.
round. You're getting productivity out of them. So I mean, I would look forward. I'd be very, very much looking forward to next season.
Oh yeah, I definitely am. So what changes we can make in the off season? I think we draft heavily on O line and defensive players, and what what Green Bay has done. What we do well is we draft well at quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know. We continue to hit the streak with that one, and we produce offensive linemen there. Our offense played really well. We held up really good against the Cowboys, which that was my first fear facing you guys is blocking Micah Parsons, and then we held them at bay. We did a good job last night keeping them at bay from the 49ers pass rush. So very optimistic going forward as a Packer fan, really excited for next season. We're so young. We've got a lot of and we're not paying these guys a lot of money right now. So
No, you should be paying, you should be salary cap wise with the team you have, and the money that those, like I said, those 4th and 5th rounders are going to make minimum money for the first 5 years. So for the next 5 years, you should have some money available to spend on some free agents, and build around that team, and make it a whole lot better down the stretch.
and what and to me, LaFleur has implemented himself. I was kind of questioning LaFleur this season. Let's see what we're going to have. But to see the growth from Jordan Love go from, and look, the first 6 games of the season, I go, I don't know if this is the guy. I don't think he is. To, this is the guy. Look how great he's played. Development from LaFleur. LaFleur has inked himself here for a really long time in the future, I believe. To watch them grow and watch his quarterback grow is to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. Jordan Love is definitely getting a big contract. Congrats to finding your guy. Thank you. Thank you, sir. My question is, why isn't the rest of the league following the Packers when it comes to how they develop quarterbacks? They got Brett Favre, they developed Rodgers under Brett Favre, they develop Love under Rodgers. A lot of teams, they go get a quarterback and they stick him in year one. And a lot of times you don't get that CJ Stroud where they go off and have a fantastic season. I just wonder if we'll see more teams go, hey, they hit the jackpot 3 times in a row.
Well,
let's try and do that. Let's draft a quarterback when we still got a guy. If the Cowboys wanted to draft a quarterback after they signed Dak and kind of have him develop under him or something like that. That I don't know. I don't know. A lot of teams
I think that's what Dallas is trying to do with the Trey Lance deal. I don't know if they'll be able to hold on to him long enough to do that, but I think that's what Dallas is trying to do with the Lance deal. Is here's a guy who has the talent. Supposedly, he was a number 2 overall pick or number 1 overall pick. And so talent wise, I guess that's what he's supposed to have. And now you put him under Dak Prescott and let him work for years and get better, and then you have him. But a lot of teams just don't use that theory because they don't have that luxury. They don't have somebody really good and then use a draft pick, a first round draft pick to put a guy under. I mean, when they made that draft, people were like, "What in the hell are they doing?" Aaron Rodgers had a meltdown. Aaron Rodgers had a meltdown. Oh, you trying to replace me? Well, I'll leave. And so
I like that pick. I want to go on record. I like that pick when we made it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, but what I'm saying is a lot of people didn't, and a lot of people question that guy. I mean, they sent him for the rando drug test right after he made it, because they don't. A lot of teams would be questioned on that draft pick.
It's it's so funny because a lot of Packer fans hate Brian Gutekunst. That is our GM,
Yeah.
and I've praised this guy ever since he's got in. And you look at his drafts, and he drafts
Well,
pretty
a
well.
lot of people
And
don't know or look at football the way we do. They don't
yeah,
go to the. I mean, that's why all these people that are armchair quarterbacks and keyboard warriors that are smashing Dak Prescott. He's terrible. He's not ever going to win the moment. He's not. Well, Prescott didn't play horrible other than the one throw that he was trying to force the ball to his diva receiver, CeeDee Lamb. Okay, that was a terrible throw. I get that. But Jordan Love makes a throw that's very questionable. The end of the game, trying to be like Favre and Rodgers and make a throw that is very much against all odds across your body, and it gets picked off. Nobody's saying that Jordan Love didn't choke in the moment. Nobody said that. And so if you look at it from the way it from behind the scenes of throws that are made, that Prescott made a whole lot of throws in that game against Green Bay that were good, and through a tight window to Gallup and to everybody else, but you let up 40 on defense. Well, okay. I mean, there's not too many teams that are going to win if you let up 40 on defense. Um, but it all falls on the quarterback, and so there's not a lot of teams that look at a draft and go and do the research on the people and go, yeah, Jordan Love, to pick Jordan Love with this pick is a great pick. It's a value pick. He should have gone much higher. Nobody looks at it from that. Your normal everyday football fan doesn't look at it like that. Your normal everyday football fan looks at it as, oh my God, we could have gotten this other wide receiver, or we could have gotten Aaron Rodgers help, and screamed to the heavens that you didn't get Rodgers help, when you look at it from a different perspective, through a different window.
yeah. All right. Well, after the Super Bowl and after all that, we'll get into. I want to go through, all the teams and big question marks. Dallas has a lot of question marks on Dan Quinn, and is he coming back? We know Mike McCarthy's coming back and everything like that. But let's pick the other two games. All right, so we got the Bucks and the Lions. The Bucks go to Detroit to face Detroit for their second home game in the playoffs. This starts at 2. Now, reminder, we're doing a live reaction to this game. Me and Craig and Jeff may jump on as well at some point during it, but stick around for that a little bit later here. Now, I think the Lions win this game. I think their pass rush is going to get to Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield's played had a decent year for them. The division is easy in Tampa down there, so this is kind of that division where somebody's got to win it, and the Bucks ended up winning it, and they played really good last week. But I think they're going to play a really good team. They ran into the Eagles, who gave up and who quit, and now they're going to play Detroit, who's hungry and is ready to play. I got the Lions winning this one. I think they win it pretty handily.
Yeah, they played Tampa already this year. They beat them 20-6, and they were missing half their team when they did it. They didn't have the suspended wide receiver. They didn't have their other running back. They didn't have some guys on defense. Brian Branch had the injury, and C.J. Gardner Johnson had his pectoral muscle torn already, and so I think you're going to see a totally different team, and I think the Lions are just better, a better football team, better coached, better offense, better defense. The Lions offensive coordinator is being seeked for a head coaching positions. He's already interviewing online, and so I just think that the Lions are the better team, and they're going to win by double digits, running away.
I totally agree. Then you got the Chiefs at the Bills. Cold weather. Patrick Mahomes hasn't. The offense hasn't been all that great this year. The defense is the best defense he's possibly had. You got the Bills, who had an off year, and then they fought back at the end of the season. They ended up winning their division. This one's tough for me because you got the Bills, who've always lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs. Are they going to get over that hump? We've seen plenty of time and time again where their quarterback loses games with throwing interceptions. I'm going to have to go with the Bills. I think Josh Allen exercises the demons tonight. And I think they're able to put up more points. And then I think that finally we're going to see these offensive woes from the Chiefs this season is going to come to play tonight in the cold weather on the road. They're not at home. You're going to have the Bills Mafia going crazy. I think the Bills win this game. Not handily. I think it's going to come down to like a 3-point game, but I think the Bills finally get past the demon of Patrick Mahomes and get going.
Bills have been the AFC's version of the Packers. They've been the hottest team in football. They've basically been in playoff mode since week 5 or 6, when or week 10 or whatever it was, the back half of the season. And Allen has made some questionable throws. He's turned the ball over. I don't think it is going to be a runaway. I think it's going to be a very low scoring game with the weather. I think both defenses are good. I think both offenses have their struggles. But in saying that, you can't bet against the best player on the field. And
Josh Allen?
Every time I do, every time I have, it burned me. And I have to run the apology bus right through the Kansas City front door. So
I have to apologize to Cat over here.
I think Patrick Mahomes plays better than Josh Allen. I think Allen. Now you would love to see this from the Buffalo standpoint, because we have said for how many times over and over and over again that it's this year for Buffalo. It's this year for Buffalo. It's this year for Buffalo. And they've let that down every time we picked them.
Yeah.
Every time we picked them.
Every time.
And
last year.
So last year was the Josh Allen's an apology tour, and there was nothing to apologize for because it was just terrible. And the first half of this year was the same way. And so I just think Mahomes. Now, I don't know. Offensively, this is the worst team he's had, and these guys are dropping footballs like you're scared of it. And
isn't it crazy how we talk about like the worst year and they're 11-6?
Yeah. Well, and
the
Kansas City receivers can't catch a cold, let alone a football. So you look at the numbers he had and go, how the hell did he do that with these guys that can't catch football? Right. I don't know. This is Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game in his career. Other than a Super Bowl, he's played every playoff game in Kansas City. So we're about to find out what he's really made of. I mean, the bottom line is we're about to find out. And I just think I think he's the best player in the game. And so you can't bet against, from a betting standpoint, if you had to put money down on it, you don't bet against the best player on the field. So.
Gat says it might be a very close game. It should be. I think it's going. I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's a 3-point victory. Whoever wins,
unless you run into some pick sixes or some crazy weather related, blocks and stuff like that. I just think that it's 13-10, 17-13. I just don't think anybody's going to put up 30 tonight in that crazy weather.
Derpy's got the Chiefs. And he's got the Bucks. Now, I understand the Chiefs, Derp, but why do you think the Bucks are going to beat the Lions, Derp? That's what I'm interested to hear. Why do you think the Bucks are going to win? On the other hand, yeah, you're exactly right, Craig. I mean, this game the Chiefs could easily win. We've gone against Patrick Mahomes the last couple of years, and it hasn't paid out well. I'm doubling down on it. I'm picking the Bills. And I might have to apologize to Cat next week, as they might get that victory, but the should be a good game. Should be a good game.
Yeah.
That
Unfortunately, you'll have to tell me about it tomorrow. So.
Oh yeah. The Packers 49ers game was really fantastic football game. This one's probably going to be about the same. I think it's going to be
When you roll in about noon.
close. Sorry, 6 a.m. is not noon. 6 a.m. is not noon, sir.
Feels like noon when you come in at midnight.
Yeah, your day's almost halfway over.
Yeah. So,
anyways. Oh man! All right. Well, at 2:00, we're gonna jump on here and we are going to live react. First time ever doing it to the Lions Bucks game. I think it's gonna be a blowout, so it might not be the greatest game to live react to, but we'll see. And if it goes well, look forward to just continue to do this. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But anything else you want to talk about, Craig? Anything?
No, I mean as much as the Lions game could be a blowout, I think it's still playoff football, and I think it's still going to be exciting to watch, and it's exciting from a standpoint of the Lions have had their struggles for years, and it's nice to see a team that hasn't had much success in its really history as a team have some success. If you would have told me that the Lions were going to be in the NFC Championship game, I would have bet whatever you wanted me to bet that this wasn't the year. I mean, if you go back to when we picked teams, I thought the Lions would win this division, and I thought they'd be good, but I didn't think they would be. I thought they were still a year or two away before of being this far along. But the matchups have lined up well. You know, the Eagles imploding helps tremendously, and then the Cowboys deciding to play a entire different style of football makes their path a lot more favorable. But you earned it. You earned the 3 seed. You probably should have earned the 2 or the 1 seed, and everything happens for a reason, and you got the path that you got, and you play who's in front of you, and I think they win today. And honestly, with what I saw from San Francisco yesterday, I think they have a very good chance at beating that football team. The weather shouldn't be a huge factor in San Francisco. It's not going to be snowing. It's not going to be, might be raining, but other than that, that defense flies around for Detroit, and the offense plays pretty well. And if you can block a little bit, I think the Lions have a real good chance at this. So we'll see.
I 100% agree. It depends on what 49ers team shows up. I expected us to be blown out against the 49ers, and it was a game that we should have won. Purdy looked bad.
Well, anybody once they get pressure on them is a different quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is a different quarterback. Brett Favre was a different quarterback. Dak Prescott's a different quarterback. Jordan Love's a different quarterback. When you start to get pressure and have them to move their feet, there's not too many that are great about it. And so I think if you get Purdy to move his feet and get him off his spot and don't give him all day to pick and choose one of his 12 weapons that he's got, I think that's how you beat the San Francisco 49ers. That's how the Eagles beat them. Well, the Eagles beat them because they blasted his UCL, but that's another story.
I saw a meme that it was 3 guys pushing a truck, and one was Christian McCaffrey, and the other one was Deebo Samuel, and they're on the ground pushing the truck, and Brock Purdy's in the truck pushing the cab, like, because he's making no difference there. He got carried to that win last night, and he looked off. If he plays that way against the Lions next week after they beat the Bucks, we might see Lions going to the Super
And
Bowl.
really, to be honest with you, I mean, where he was drafted and the like, he is the definition of the bus driving, you know, of the bus driving quarterback. I think it's the Shanahan system. I think it's the amazing talent he has around him.
Mhm.
Not too many people get dropped into that situation.
He
Um,
might be the luckiest. It might be the luckiest quarterback, and like as far as that, talk about that and the talent he
and the
has, and the head
injuries that
coach and the
happened to
defense, and
Garoppolo leading up to it to even give him
Trey
the
Lance
shot,
snapping his
Trey Lance
ankle.
snapping his ankle. I mean, that's how Prescott got his start.
Yeah,
Tony Romo breaks his back. Uh, the Jason Garrett or the backup or whoever the backup was at the
and
oh
was
goodness.
it what
It,
did Moore, Kellen Moore?
huh? Kellen Moore. Yeah, Kellen Moore breaks his ankle in practice, and here comes Dak Prescott, and he wins 12 games, and they never look back. So yeah, that's how these guys, the situation sometimes you're dropped into, uh, you know, it's
And
just
this
paved for you.
Purdy's got the best one now. They lost Debo Samuel last night in the game, not for the rest of the year, but just he didn't play last night after he took a hit, and that changed their offense. So, but he's got Debo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey are just basically the same dude. He's got two of those. He's got wide receivers left and right. He's got
Yeah,
Kittle. He's got the
it'll
defense.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a dream situation to be in.
One of
All
the
you
best
have
head
to do,
coaches in the
all you
NFL.
have to do is not turn the ball over. You just don't make mistakes, and you should be okay.
I
Don't give
think
the other team a short field. Don't give the other team the ball a million times.
um, I don't think the Super Bowl winner is an NFC team this year. I think it's going to be on the AFC side, but regardless whether it's the 49ers or the Lions. And I'm discounting the Bucks. The Bucks are not going to win today. Sorry, Derp.
I
They're
hope
not
it's
going to
not
win.
the Ravens. That's all I gotta say.
The only reason I would see the Ravens winning is their defense.
Yeah.
Absolutely
So
insane. But all right, guys, we're going to take a break. We'll be back on for the 2:00 Lions game and watch them dismantle the Bucks. I'm a Baker Mayfield fan, so we'll see. But I just
I've
think watch
always
and
been a supporter of him. I picked him to win that division, and um, I thought he would have success. The biggest thing with Baker is he's never had consistency from a coaching standpoint in his whole career. Um, he's in Cleveland they changed coaches, like they changed socks. Then he got moved to a different team, and that team didn't give him a chance, and then he gets moved to Tampa, and so he just hasn't had a consistent. He's learning a new damn system every year. He's learning new nomenclature. He's learning new people. He's learning getting new continuity with new wide receivers every year. If you just leave the kid alone for a while, and let him get into one system and get into a rhythm, then as the season went on, he played better football. Imagine that.
yeah.
And talk about a guy who finally inherited a good scenario. I mean, who wouldn't like having Mike Williams and Chris Godwin to throw the football to? And I think if
Mike
Tampa was able
Evans.
to, yeah, I think if Tampa has a running game, then I think that team could be something good along the way, and especially in that wonderful division going forward. So anyhow,
All right. Well, come join us back at 2:00 for that game. That's going to wrap it up for this episode, and we will see you guys at 2. God bless, and remember,
keep it outspoken.